About 100 kilometers west of Barcelona lies the small town of Bellpuig. A lot of traditional Catalan and Spanish feel here, but that's all going to change very shortly when these boys get out there kicking up the dirt. Bob Moore's leading the standings after round 3. Last year's world champion Pedro Trachter is in second place, looking for a change in form. This is a fast, dry, arid circuit. The weather's great. And at the moment, Bob Moore came second in his qualifying group. Michel Pichon is finding fantastic form. Pedro Trachter, as I said, looking for that blinding inspiration. Alessio Chiodi, kind of in there and thereabouts so far this season. And as you can see, big crowds turning out. A big event here as they kick off with 42 starters in Heat 1 of the 4th round of the World 125cc Motocross Championships. And a few fallers on the outside of the right-hander. Marcel van Drunen will be sad to be involved in that. And he's limping, but he gets on his bike again and is the last one away. Alessio Chiodi out in front, being chased very hard by fellow countryman Bartolini, and then another Italian, Mauro Del Lago, in 3rd place, Pichon 4th, and Pedro Trachter in 5th place. So another of the ubiquitous Bartolinis out there. And look how well Pichon is going on the Honda. He really has shown tremendous form at the start of the season. And it looks as if it's all starting to come together for one of the youngest men on the circuit. I'm amazed how well the Italians are doing here. That's Massimo Bartolini, running in about 7th position at the minute. And it's great to see a nice, hard, fast circuit. The guys were clocking up during practice and qualifying almost average speeds of 50 kilometers an hour. And that is fast by anyone's standards. Now then, Pichon looking very relaxed up the hill, chasing Alessio Chiodi. And you've got the red Honda of Pichon and the white Honda of Chiodi. And Mauro Del Lago in 3rd position, also on a Honda. Massimo Bartolini riding a TM, so quite a mixture up there. And Dave Strybos on a Suzuki. Isn't it good to see the crowds turning out for this event? One always thinks of Spain and remembers Jerez, where no one used to come to any of the Grand Prix events there. It must have been very dispiriting for organisers and everyone else. Well, Trachter has been having problems, and he's still having them. Something's broken, and he is now out of it. So another appalling turnout for Trachter, who's looking for the sort of form that made him the world champion last season, again this season. But is this man the young pretender to the new crown? Could well be. Michel Pichon does a wheelie across the line to take the checkered flag and win the first moto ahead of Alessio Chiodi and Mauro Del Lago and Massimo Bartolini. The Italians getting a nice little sort of hat-trick there. Strybos managed 5th and gets good points for that. Sad that Bob Moore, Chesterfield Team Rinaldi rider, was forced to abandon this first race with carburation, as was Pedro Trachter, who tells us that he was going really well, and then on the 4th lap, his engine would run for a little while, then it wouldn't, and thinks it might be ignition or something. So they're having a look at it now. 42 starters for Heat 2 of round 4 of the World Championship. Both Moore and Trachter will be looking to appease the disasters, and they're well positioned going into that first bend. Oh, there's a faller right in the middle. It's John van der Berg, and a couple of local guys crashing into him as well. I mean, he just dropped the bike, and Trachter is in the lead, and that's where he'll want to stay. But the lead in the early stages changing time and time again with Eric Camerlengo. Trachter having dropped back to 3rd position. Then another change. There goes Chiodi. Badamane comes from nowhere to lead the crew. Trachter still in 3rd position there. Now then, Bob Moore having a much better second race here, solved his carburation problems, and he's in second position and making everyone look over their shoulders. Pedro Tracta still running in third, being chased by Alessio Chiodi. And Badamane with big problems, showing you just how steep some of these hills and drop-offs are, having to just drop his bike and get out of the way. So another change to the leadership as Bob Moore powers ahead of the rest of the field. Chiodi takes over in second place. Pedro Tracta riding steadily to get some sensible points in third place. And that young Frenchman once again showing what he's made of and how well the Honda's going in fourth position. Pitbira fifth. We haven't seen much from him in the last couple of outings, but the German getting a good run today, as opposed to poor old Dave Strybos, who has to retire. But for Bob Moore, this is what he was looking for, and he goes back with maximum points from Heat 2. So, confirmation of the results of the second race. Tractor third, Pichon fourth, and Pipira in fifth place. Nice international mix-up there on the podium.
Lap, I had no gas on the starts, and after the jump, I was just like that, and so after I had to come in and check the bike, and then the choke was on. But the second moto went very well. I got a bad start, but I came up and I felt very good, and I won the race easy, so it was good for me.
So the overall for the weekend sees the Italian Chiodi out in Motocross Championships, being led, as you can see, very closely by John van der Berg and Jacob Baart, ahead of Alvin van Asten and Marco Stallman. Here is John van der Berg, who's been going very well so far this weekend. And he's going to be looking at Jacob Baart, obviously, as one of his main competitors on the Honda. 30 starters get away for 25 minutes and 2 laps. And a big, wide, sweeping right-hander. A lot of the guys going out quite sharp to the outside there. 44 is Arvold Nyland. He gets the whole shot. He's in the lead there. And quite a desperate start by Alvin van Asten, who you saw on the Honda just coming round that first corner, because he got really tied up and is way, way, way down the field at the moment. Now then, one of the guys who's having to do a bit of work is number 6 there, John van der Berg. He started back in about 4th position, and he's already moved up into 3rd place, having just moved past Leon Gispers. And they're both on Suzuki's, of course. John van der Berg on the Italian Capri team Suzuki, and Leon Gispers is on the team Chesterfield Suzuki. Marcel van Drunen, well, he had a lousy start, down in about 16th position, and he is powering his way through the fields. So on lap 4, Jacob Baart is in the lead, but right behind him is John van der Berg, and you can see van der Berg challenging hard, but Jacob Baart responds and pulls away again, and number 5, there's Leon Gispers. So a real good tussle for the top 3 here, but working their way up through the field. Remy van Rees, number 1, is now in 6th position. He's worked his way up from about 12th, something like that. John van der Berg then has managed to capture the lead. It's lap 6, and that is Leon Gispers in 2nd place. Oh, and he nearly blew it there, Gispers. It looked as if he was playing to the crowd, but you don't do that sort of thing on a sand circuit. But he recovered from that. Absolutely beautiful. 2nd place, Leon Gispers. 1st place, John van der Berg. Jacob Baart still running in 3rd place, but I think he took a bit of a tumble around the back end of the circuit and has lost a bit of confidence. Remy van Rees moves up into 3rd position on the Kawasaki. There's the Honda of Jacob Baart, now in 4th place. Number 44 is Arvold Nyland, who ran really well in the initial stages. Marcel van Drunen is number 4 there. But here's your leader. Marcel van Drunen having to work his way up, as I said, from 16th place. And from 12th place into 2nd place, an extraordinary feat of riding by Remy van Rees. So, confirmation of those results. Gispers hung on to 3rd place, Jacob Baart 4th, and Eric Echens was 5th place. 2 Hondas there, rounding up the results. But wasn't this A very clever piece of correction by Leon Gispers. He's saying I had a really good start and I was trying to follow John van der Berg, but my arms got really pumped up and I thought play it safe and just stay in that position for third and get the points, and so he did. It's Heat 2 of round 3 of the Dutch International 125cc Motocross Championships. And let's see whether we can get safely around this first one. They're all sweeping over to the left, but clearly out in front is Bart. Nobody injured there. Here comes Jacob Bart. Brilliant start. That's Van Drunen. Leon Gispers going well again. The sun's out. That's Carl Nunn from England on the Kawasaki and John van der Berg. So into the lead on lap 2 moves Team Chesterfield Suzuki rider Marcel van Drunen. And Leon Gispers is now in second place. And it really is tough stuff out there with John van der Berg in third place. Now, Dave Strybos had a lousy first heat and had to drop out. And he's having just as lousy a second heat. He was way back down in 30th position at the start. And one wonders how much work he's got to do with these three Suzuki's out in front. Poor old Jacob Bart, who came off on lap 2 and is way down in 16th position now, has got it all to do yet again. So a bit of a Suzuki procession out in front there, with the Capri team rider John van der Berg in third place. And a bit of a late challenge coming on now by Leon Gispers in the final closing stages of this 14-lap race. Those numbers on the back are their World Championship numbers, not their national numbers, which is a bit muddling, but Leon Gispers is going to take the checkered right on the last lap. So there we see John van der Berg managing third. Owen van Asten rode back into fourth. Marco Stallman, a good fifth position for Kawasaki. What a great finish.
Nee, ik heb Leon zeker niet laten winnen.
So, Marcel van Drunen, did you let teammate Leon Gispers go past you? No way, he said. There was quite a big gap between us, but then I got tied up with some back markers, some slower riders. And over one jump, Leon 3 of the national 250cc motocross championships. It's a good old sand circuit, so the locals are going to be favoured here. And yes, Pedro Trachter does ride 250cc in the national events. Joachim Carlsen's been going extremely well. Tom van Grimsen is always a bit of a challenge, but Pedro Trachter can swap from 125cc, which he's world champion of course, onto 250cc, no trouble at all. So there's Tom van Grimsen. Behind him, 41, is Oscar Vromans. 40 starters for 25 minutes plus 2 laps, and this is very hairy at the end here. Normally creates some problems if they go wide, and they've done it again. That is a big pile-up. Well clear out in front is number 3, Cheryl Sweeber, and Edwin Everton is there. The bad news is that way down, running around 15th, is Pedro Trachter. So Tom van Grimsen gets away, and he is so unlucky to be that far down. Edwin Everton takes the lead from Cheryl Sweeber, and Oscar Vromans is in third position. They're quite spread out, aren't they? There goes Vromans, and then through comes Jesper Jorgensen on his KTM, and Gerard Koning as well. I tell you what, this is fast, very fast. The boys are lapping round here in excess of 50 kilometers an hour. Through goes Carlsen, who also had a bit of an iffy start, down in 7th, making his way up through the field. But turbocharged is Pedro Trachter just behind Carlsen. It's lap 8, and he's made up all of those places. He's now challenging for third place. And it really does show why this man is 125cc world champion. There's Evertson. Cheryl Sweeber giving him a run for his money at the moment, and the man who's making all the running is Tom van Grimsen, who after that crash was down in 28th position, and he's now up into the points in 14th position. What a brilliant ride by the Honda rider. Now then, there's Trachter challenging for the lead. I don't believe it. If this man can make his way up from 15th position, that crash at the beginning did create a lot of problems, because Van Klinken has already made his way up from the very last position in the field all the way through. But look at this. Tractor takes the lead. Joachim Karlsson is in third position. He's storming through with his confidence at an all-time high. How can you do that? Racing from the back. Karlsson challenging for second place now, and he goes through. So Evertsson must be a little bit weary, having led for so much of the race. But as the flag comes out, that's got to be one of the most storming rides that Tractor has had in his career, I should think. Ahead of Joachim Karlsson, who put on a good challenge. Evertsson third, Jorgensen ended up fourth, and Gerard Koning ended up fifth. For your information, Tom van Grimsen ended up 13th. What a ride he had. So here's Tractor. He said, I tried to keep on the right line, but I got pushed out wide and ended up into a hay bale. I then had to select first gear, and I got away, but then I had a brilliant race. All my overtaking manoeuvres went well, and I really enjoyed it. So heat 2 of round 3 of the Dutch National Championships, 250cc, and let's hope we don't get a recurrence of what happened in the first one. But well, this is terrible. They're all down there. Tractor's down, Van Grimsen's down, Koning, Jorgensen, and Ten Heuvel, all the big names involved in this. Let's see if we can see what happened. This is Tractor we've got ringed here, and it really is a rough and tumble here at Norge. It's only a very short start straight, and there he is on the ground. And I think people fall off rather than ride over the world champion. And that is a big mix-up and a big pile-up. Gerald Sweeper out in front again, just as he was on the first heat. Well, Tractor has got going again, and he certainly won't be able to ride right through like he did last time. So let's have a look at the front runners. Sweeper out in front. Joachim Karlsson in second place. He managed to keep out of trouble this time, and look at the gap between those two and the rest of the field. The rest of the field is Roel Verstegen. And then behind him is Edwin Evertsson. A little lap of concentration by Marco de Blay there. Evertsson started in about 7th position. And also, actually riding quite closely with him is Willy van Wessel. And the two of them are having a nice tussle, trying to get up towards podium positions. Well, you can see how well Evertsson has gone. He's now third. Fourth is Willy van Wessel. Gerald Sweeper has dropped right back. Pedro Tractor is scything through the field, taking 6 or 7 riders with every lap. But it surely is beyond the world champion to make his way up into the points when you start back in 34th position. But he's already up into something like 10th position. Willy van Wessel taking third on the KTM. Going very well, the KTM's here. So the checkered flag goes out for Karlsson, a brilliant win. Those are the results of Heat 2. But can I tell you that Pedro Tractor eventually ended up in 7th position. An extraordinary ride by the world champion. Let's have a look at what caused the problems for him. Someone just rode straight in front of him. He comes off his machine there, and people are just dropping their bikes so that they don't ride all over him. So he does get points for both of those heats, and that means he comes third overall on the day. Gerald Sweeper fourth, Vromans fifth. Karlsson, very strong, eh?